Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to be welding the turbo drain to the oil pan. This is kind of the suckiest part about doing one of these builds, and you got to make sure you get it right. So that's what I'm going to be showing you guys today. I'm going to go ahead and say right off the bat, I am not great at welding. This is just a perfect example of your average dude trying to build a turbo car in his backyard. So hopefully the professional welders out there can respect that. And I am trying to do everything I can myself. I'm not sending anything to be done by someone else. So that is the point of these videos, is, you know, showing you guys that anyone can do this and that is possible. One of the crappiest parts about doing a turbo build is having to remove your pan to weld in your turbo drain. And then you do it and your turbo smokes. So this is why this video is being made today. And I'm gonna go ahead and start it off with, no, I don't have the bar that goes across the engine to hold the engine up. Yes, I need to just break down and buy one. And check this out. This is really cool too. I don't know if anyone else does sketchy stuff like this, but yes, I know this isn't how you're supposed to do these things, so you don't have to put it in the comments. Thanks. It works fine. The only problem is you have to work around the legs under the car. It's not ideal, but it'll get the job done. All right, guys, so I dropped the subframe on this thing, and the oil pan pretty well just removed itself. Never had one this easy before. So the oil pan just kind of fell out. You do have to remove your power steering pump, unless you're magic or something, but you do have to remove that. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean up this disgusting oil pan and see if we can get the bung welded in there. The oil pan is off, and if you're an E46 owner, you're probably used to seeing stuff like this in your pan. It's usually tensioner parts, but in my case, it's actually just parts of the oil pan gasket. So pretty happy I'm replacing that. That is one benefit about having to take this off, is it finally gives you more of a reason to fix that leak. But for an E46, this pan's actually pretty clean. This is usually full of sludge and everything. That's just leftover oil that I got to dump out yet. But I'm going to get this thing cleaned up. As you can see, it is terrible. I'm just going to use brake cleaner and water. This side's fine, actually. Just some brake cleaner and water, because I don't have a blaster or anything nice. Maybe someday. Oil pan pretty clean, at least I can touch it now. Just use a wire brush and some brake clean on it. And right here is the rib that you want to get rid of. So you're just gonna grind this down with a flap disc until it's smooth, because you will be putting in your drain fitting here above the oil drain. And then the inside, I didn't get it as clean, but. So right here's your oil drain. You're gonna be going like right here. You wanna get as high as you can. And if you can stay above this, the better. One thing I know you can do is, this is kind of flexible, so if you have to, you can kind of get it out of your way. Don't move it too much because it's your baffle. But this is where I'm going to be drilling my hole, and hopefully this works. This is about where you end up. It's about an inch from the lip down. And I probably won't actually drill such a huge hole to stick this whole thing through. I'm probably going to just grind down this to the angle that I want and then weld it that way. You can do it however you want, but that's how I'm about to do it. So I don't have to make the hole as big. I'm just gonna match the hole as the inside of this. I got it welded on at about the angle I want. I am not very good at TIG, so I'm gonna have to check and make sure this actually holds at least water before I go any further. But I'm pretty sure it penetrated. I probably went a little too hot, to be honest. Up here by the lip was a pain in the butt, but I got it. And then here's the inside. So the reason I got so close to the baffle here is because of the lip. The lip starts about right here. So I had to go down, but you want to try to stay above the baffle, because this is about as high as you can go. But I'm actually pretty happy with how this turned out. I'm used to using the fittings that you put a nut on the inside of the pan, and those are a pain in the butt, especially because I can't get a fitting to point up at this angle without welding it. So I'll take it. All right, so I got it mocked up for right now. I got the pan on and everything. And for the mock-up, I'm just using a 3/4 inch hose so they slip on both fittings. These are actually 5/8 fittings. And the reason I'm using a 3/4 is so I can just pull it back off. I just wanted to get a visual for this video of what it's gonna look like. And plus, this turbo is gonna be coming back off because I have to modify the compressor housing and the exhaust housing for the wastegate and for the elbow. And as you can see, it's not bad. It turned out all right. I really couldn't get much more of an angle on this fitting on the pan because I would end up dropping too low. This is about the hardest part about doing a bottom mount. In some manifolds, the turbo sits even lower, which makes this even more impossible. But as you can see, I can also shorten this hose up a little bit and get more of a drop. I do have the turbo clocked just a little bit. This is a straight fitting here. The reason you use a straight fitting is because, well, I have a 45 here. These 45s end up dropping it way too low. This is tight too. It's just not a good design. I've looked and looked. You can just use the classic straight fitting on these 5/8 and clock the turbo just a hair. You have to clock the turbo just a hair too to be able to get the actual feed line on, because it'll be blocked by the manifold. And that's fine as long as your gravity is flowing down. It's fine. You don't want to go any more than this though. But I'm happy with that. Shouldn't have any issues. People that have issues are people that go too low down here where the oils want to go up the line, or they have, you know, a 45 or AN fittings which drop them down here by the time they start to bend, so they're too low. You want to start your drop as far up as you can because you don't have much room here. So just like this. You may be able to do better than I did, but I'm pretty happy with that, and I know it'll work because I've done another one of these before, and I used a fitting that just bolted into the pan, and I did not even get this much of an angle, and I didn't have any issues. You just want to make sure you can get as high up on here as you can, and you want to make sure that you can start sloping down as soon as possible up here. You do not want to get a fitting that's going to drop you too far. It's kind of hard to explain, but once you get to this point, you'll understand what I mean. Sorry, I forgot to mention that I don't have the hose that I'm going to be using yet. I have it ordered, I just don't have it yet. It's an Eaton return hydraulic hose, because this hose right here, I have used this style hose. It gets so soft and it starts to expand and everything once it gets hot, and it'll leak no matter how tight you put the fittings on. Do not use like a heater hose or a fuel line or anything like that. Do not use that, or you're going to be on the side of the road with all your oil dumped out of your engine. Like I said, I'm going to be using an Eaton hose, and it's going to be a hydraulic hose, a return line, so it will go over these barb fittings. That's why you want to use the return line, because a high pressure hydraulic hose obviously is way too stiff and it's not going to go over these. And if it has the braided steel in them, they will not go over these fittings very well either. The hose I'm using works great. I will be showing that in a different video and putting a link in the description to whatever I use. I'm trying to put a link in every video I can of the stuff I use, so it makes it easy on you guys. And I'm sorry that, once again, I do not have the hose that I'm going to be using yet, but you will see it in a video after this at some point. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope this helped out some people. I know that I can't get everything on camera, but I try. Make sure to tack weld your oil pump nut to your sprocket, not to the shaft, but to the sprocket. Just a tack weld, it's all you need. Even if you have a B25, I know it's most common on B30s, but these cars are getting so old now, it just may happen out of nowhere. And if you look it up online, it happens to be 25s also. And I forgot to mention that in this video, or show that, but most of you guys probably get the point of how to do that, or some of you guys probably done it before. It's a lot cheaper than buying an oil pump. If you're getting really deep into this, yeah, I do the tensioner and do the actual, you know, oil pump upgrade, or the chains also, if you want to just keep the stock pump and do a safety wire or a tack weld. Thank you, guys. I'm just going to end this video with a quick update of what's to come. So next video will be wastegate, how to mount that, where to mount that, and what my plans are with that. And then I will be doing a video over the mass airflow sensor, fuel system, what injectors I'm using. I will also need another video probably over your oil feed and what you need to do to your stock manifold to prepare it. And then obviously there will be a video over intercore piping, but that'll probably be towards the end